tried to free your mind, Neo, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. You have to let it all go, Neo. Fear, doubt, and disbelief. Free your mind.
This is the Mind is Mine podcast.
What it do, ladies and gentlemen? Episode 34 with my man Bodine. How we doing today, bro?
Doing great, bro. Thanks for having me.
Great having you, man. Great having you.
Yes, sir.
Met you about a year and a half ago. Maybe a little less than that over in the Super Bowl here in St. Louis, man. Yeah. And it's an honor to actually have you here on the Mind is Mine podcast, bro.
Yes, sir, man. It's long overdue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna let you have the stage.
Okay.
Introduce yourself. Because you are a very well-versed man, not only on stage, but off stage as well. You know, you're out here in the community and schools as well. You're a vice principal. Vice principal?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Getting your doctorate too, I heard.
Yes, sir.
So,
May of next year, I'll be a doctor.
Congratulations, bro. Congratulations.
Ready to get that out the way. But yeah, man, my name is Bodine, St. Louis born and raised. I'm a hip-hop artist, producer, actor, do some modeling. I'm also an educator. I was an English teacher for 10 years. And now I'm an assistant principal. I'm an assistant principal at an elementary school. Not gonna give away the elementary school, but been doing that for 2 years. And I'm in school right now currently to get my doctorate in educational leadership. So that's like the next mission that I'm trying to accomplish. My end goal for education, I say probably like retire as a superintendent. You know what I mean? And I actually want to build in urban arts performance school. So just working in like the city for years. We had so many talented young black youth that don't have an outlet, you know, to be seen or heard. And I want to make a school for them. I know Central Visual Performing Arts was one.
Yes, sir.
But we could always have another one, though.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Another one wouldn't hurt.
There's never enough, honestly.
Yeah.
And we have so much talent here in St. Louis and so much talent emerging from the youth as well. Yeah. You know, those are the seeds, man. So we got to continue to water those seeds as much as we can. And honestly, St. Louis, I feel like we don't have enough platforms for that. Yeah. So, and this is the perfect place to do it because I'm sure you know very well the amount of talent that we have here, the amount of potential that we have in St. Louis that gets overlooked on a daily. So, and you are one person that continues to shine light on the greatness of the city. And STO made what you just made back on 314 Day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for dropping that song. I listened to it right before we got on the air.
Man, thank you.
I loved it, man. I love it, every second of it. And it makes me feel proud for the place that I live at.
Man, that was the whole goal of that record. That was actually inspired by, you ever heard Jay-Z's Empire State of Mind?
Of course.
Ever since I heard that record, I was like, somebody got to make an STL record like that. Like when I think of New York City, that's the first song that comes to mind. You know what I mean? That's like the theme of New York. That'll make you want to be proud to be from New York City.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And St. Louis has a lot of theme, you know what I'm saying, related music, but not an actual song that's specifically catered to the city. So I wanted to make one that was specifically, you know, tailored, that bigged up the city, famous places, food spots, things that St. Louisans can relate to. I wanted to make something where like if there was a movie made about St. Louis, this would be the theme song. You know
yes, sir.
So that's what I had in mind when I made STL Made.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
And again, like I said, I feel like our city gets overlooked on a lot of things. So to get to it, before we get started any deeper, could you pass me that poster real quick?
This one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I need my product placement.
Yes.
But let's jump into that. What are you so proud about in terms of St. Louis? You know, everybody has a different answer. But how long have you been, well, first, before you answer that question, how long have you been in the game as a rapper?
Ooh, man, probably say 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, man, I'm a young OG.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I've been at it, for a very long time. It's embedded in me. You know what I'm saying? This was my way to express myself ever since a kid. You know what I mean? I don't know, when I was like a toddler, or you know what I'm saying, 5, 8, I was very talkative. As I got older, I just became more laid back and reserved and observant. And music was just my way to express myself. So music has always been my escape way for me to like express my feelings without having to saying them right off the bat. I could really process and think and put together, what I want to say before I say it.
Of course.
And music was the best way, to do that. And yeah. Well, hold on. What was the question again? I got off.
I went to
sidetrack.
Well, I wanted to know how long you've been rapping for.
Yeah, man. About 20 years, man. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. So I think you are the most experienced person in that field that I've had on this podcast. So yeah, I appreciate the wisdom that I have coming to me today. So
for sure, man.
But before we get deeper on your lore, like I said, what are you so proud about for your city? What are you so proud about for St. Louis when you think about making STL Made and reflecting on a song like Empire State of Mind and wanting to do that for the city? Man,
we are one of the best cities in the world with just culture, food, arts and entertainment. I've been to a lot of cities, and there's no place like home in regards of like just fashion, how in music, like other cities they have dope music scenes, but it's just a certain hunger that we have when we hit that stage and when we get out to different cities and hustle. Most cats that I know that went to different cities for St. Louis, like Atlanta or Cali or somewhere, like they thrived when they got out there because of like the hustle that they had to learn from here. We got a very tough crowd, you know what I mean? Like when you get out and perform in front of these people, like they'll just stand there. You be like, damn, I ain't kill it, you know what I'm saying? But then when you get off stage, you get love and stuff like that. But like our crowds are very hard. Like we got some tough critics. So if we can perform and all people here, we can do it anywhere else easily. And then just the talent that we have here is unmatched. Like even like the new wave of cats like Lil Durk, his performances is crazy.
Shout out to Lil Durk.
He got one of the best performances that I've seen in a very long time. You know what I mean? And KB, that's just a whole different. He's a cheat code.
Yes,
you know what I mean? The Stephon Riggins and Brandon Michael Lewis and like the new wave of artists here. It sparks that it just gave a new spark to me, and I'm pretty sure to others. You know what I'm saying? Like the future's in good hands. I told a couple of them that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cool if I never rapped again. Like I'm glad where the direction of St. Louis is going.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And like the support that they get, like y'all move as one. When y'all be at shows, everybody's there. Like you're not just rooting for Lil Durk, you rooting for KB and others. You know what I'm saying? That's in y'all. Wave and stuff. So it's beautiful to see, bro. It's beautiful to see.
That was the reason why we had to reschedule today. Yesterday, we had Keens at the stage over at the Red Room. And KB was competing.
Did he win?
No, he fell short to Nita P.
Really?
Yeah, he fell short. But Nita P definitely showed out. And, if we're going to lose to anybody, it's going to be her because she definitely showed out. She came with all her hits. But in our hearts, KB definitely won too.
Yeah. Shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to her, man. She's definitely somebody to watch to as well on the female side.
For sure.
But yeah, that was the reason why I had to reschedule. And even though he fell short, it's amazing to see somebody of his caliber that young and to make waves in a space that you don't think a 19-year-old could make waves in.
Yeah, man. The fact that he's 19 is pretty impressive for everything that he could do. And I was telling, who was I telling? I was telling, I think Stefan, like at 19, I was lyrically, I was great, but just finding my pocket, you know what I'm saying, having my sound and everything, I wasn't all the way there yet. But like these new guys, man, like they have everything pretty much ready to go, ready, like packaged already at 18, 17 and stuff like that. Where with me and others, we were still trying to find ourselves, at that age. So that just shows like how times have changed, you know what I'm saying, with like music and like the scene. So yeah, shout out to them.
Of course. And we couldn't have done it without you.
Oh yeah, for
couldn't
sure.
have done it without you. Couldn't have done it without T-Double.
Yeah.
Obviously Nelly, Lunatics, all of them.
Yeah.
You guys gave us the platform and the foundation to build off of that, so we don't have to go through the same issues that you did.
Yeah.
When you were that age. Now we're able to piggyback on that and find our own way. Yeah. Find our own ways of wisdom and everything, and while still being in touch with you guys too.
For sure, bro.
So
and like when we was coming up, like we had to. It was trial and error. Like we didn't know what to do. We was just doing stuff, and whatever stuck. We rinse, cycle, and repeat. But like trying to find venues and book shows and things like that, we really didn't know how to go about it. We just, we didn't have nobody to show us what to do. So we just tried things, and if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. You know what I mean? But me and Dub and others, we try to make sure that for cats like y'all, we give y'all the game, now. So you won't have to go through the things that we did, and a lot of y'all doing great. You know what I'm saying, with taking the gyms and doing your own thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and one thing I've learned too, because I'm not an artist in that aspect. Yeah, I have my own ways of showing art, of course, and this being one of them.
Yes, sir.
Seeing on the sidelines, I've learned that community makes the difference, and having people. And we learned that yesterday. One of the reasons why I needed P1 is that the crowd was really going for it. She had hits that were just calling out her name and getting the crowd elated, getting the crowd just hyped up. And not saying KB doesn't do that, because he for sure does that.
Yeah.
It's just when you have people saying your name in the crowd, that brings a whole different aspect to performing, and a whole different aspect to if you're being judged or not. Did you have that growing up when you were coming into the game? Did you have that big of a community behind you?
Not at first, but once people start seeing that other people was catching on to me, and that my name was being more recognized throughout the city, then I started getting that community. It was at one point, I'd probably say maybe 2012, 2013, I was part of a conglomerate called Step or Get Left, and we had like a very big support system. So when we did shows, like we were opening it up for Bone Thugs, DMX, Nipsey Hussle, all the big acts that came here. So when people start seeing us doing those type of shows and performing in front of big audiences and songs, videos we was dropping, getting thousands of views, winning awards and things, that's what built our community. People start believing, you know what I mean? And then that's when, when I do Chi-Chi, when I heard them songs on the radio, like when I perform them, they'll be rocking with us in the crowd and stuff like that. So to make a long story short, as people start seeing that the buzz was growing and more people was getting in tune to like my movement and what I was doing, that made people want to join and be supportive.
Of course. So learning from those aspects, because this was when you started your career, mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did the scene look like then? Because in the mid 2000s, I'm 1998, so I'm not even 10 years old just yet. Yeah. So what did the scene look like then, and how you compare that to now?
So mid 2000s, that's really when everybody from my wave started emerging. That's when I realized we had some talent. I started running into everybody, you know, now. You know what I mean? I started saying, dang, we got some spitters and some talented artists here. So everybody was fairly new. Things like Slum Fest and award shows, and it was like a STL renaissance because everybody was, you know, coming out of the shadows and being seen. And then around that time, that was the blog era, you know, like with the Wiz Khalifas and the Mac Millers and everything. So man, it was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful time. It was a lot of artists outside, you know what I'm saying, during that time, and everything was fresh. We also had a lot more venues too, like Cicero's, and the Gramophone, you know, was a venue, and Plush, and it was another one on Washington, but it was like a lot of venues for hip hop acts. So there was shows all over the place too. But yeah, it was a great time. You just had to be outside, man. That was also the emergence of the word war, street status, you know what I'm saying, with Verb, Holla, Young Ill, you know what I mean? So everything was, you know, shaping into what it has become, you know, now. Yeah. Yeah, bro. It was fun.
Yeah, that's dope to go back and to look at that and see how it's changed the city and how you were a part of that too.
Bro, like, and what's wild is like a lot of that stuff, like I was there. I was there to witness it, there to witness these people, you know, blow up. You know what I'm saying? We seen the Tough Pose on 106 in Park, you know what I mean? And, you know, go from there. We seen the A-Verbs and the Young Ills, you know, at the African Palace, you know what I mean? Young Ill versus Hitman Holla, you know what I'm saying? That was a thing. You know, everybody was tuned in when they went to New York to go battle Arsenal and Goods and Head Ice, and Verb versus SB outside, and Hitman versus Verb at the Ambassador. Like, these are all things that help shape the St. Louis, you know, hip hop culture today. You know, so it was cool to just be tuned in and there for those moments, man. It was great.
It's so refreshing to hear not only the reflection but the pride that you have for the art that you make and the art that you're making with other people in the city.
Oh yeah.
And how that's lifting the city up.
Yeah.
How do you do that now? Is there any difference to how you did it then? Because I know the entire landscape of not only the city but hip hop has changed since the blog era. Yeah. Especially with streaming and in different ways to get out with the music now.
Well, and then, you know, back then you actually had to be outside. So like I was selling CDs, you know what I mean? Like I was selling mixtapes. Like they'll be on the internet, but back then it was more so like a hustle. We didn't rely on streams and things like that. We had, hey, I got the CD for $15-$20. Who gonna cop it? You know, we was really outside with CDs, shirts, you know, any type of tangible things to make money off our music. So that's another thing that
I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
I got somebody part of Truly Gifted, Dirty Beats, if you know him, John. Yeah. He's so adamant on like going back to CDs and selling CDs, which I don't disagree with. Yeah. Because I believe, obviously with the vinyls here, I believe physical media should be something that should be cherished and valued.
Yes, sir.
No matter how digital we go. Yeah. So do you have any advice for Truly Gift or anybody else that is willing to get back into selling CDs and doing guerrilla marketing and getting out into the streets and actually doing that? I didn't mean to interrupt, by the way.
No, you're perfectly fine. Do it. That's what I'm doing with this next project. So I got 2 EPs that'll come out before it, just to give, you know, free music. But my big album, Memento Vivere, that'll be something that people will have to cop. You have to go on Even or my website, or you can get at me for CDs. I think I'm gonna do like a limited edition of vinyls too. But yeah, man, like I totally agree with him to, you know, sell his product. We spend so much money on making the album and then we put it out for free. That's and facts. Even if you get thousands of streams, like you're gonna get maybe
Pocket change.
Pocket change, bro.
Yeah.
And you sell $125 CDs, you gon' feel better about, what I'm saying, making more music and selling, because you recouping, what I'm saying. That's a better profit. That's a better return on investment. And that's what I've been saying, like this year, like 2026, that's going to be my ROI. We put so much money into this, so we deserve to get, money back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
So that's
you can actually physically hold this. You can look at it. You can feel the energy of that. Streaming, it can just be iffy. Yeah, because that is even the business practices behind streaming nowadays. It's it's fugazi. Yeah,
man. And if people really rock with your music, they gon' buy it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm all for it.
I appreciate that, man.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, John. If you're listening to this, we got the thumbs up. So
2 of them.
Yes, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. But back to what you were saying, reflecting on the physical media and what you did back then and how you, you kind of touched on it just now, but what is the importance of physical media to you personally?
I think it's important because it's something like it's a personal connection. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I can easily go on Apple or Spotify and get your music, but if I purchase it from you, you sign it. You know what I'm saying? That holds a more special place,
of course,
in my heart. You know what I'm saying? From that artist. Now I got something I could really cherish. I got a story behind it. Yeah, man. I copped this album. He autographed it. I'm always remember that. You know what I'm saying? And therefore I'm always cherish that project, even if it ain't my favorite project of yours. But I'm always remember. Like, man, I remember when I bought this CD from him. He's a cool guy. We walked the wham. I got a story to tell. Mm-hmm. Based off, this tangible item that I got from you. And I'm putting money into your pocket. I'm putting more money into your pocket too. Like the streams ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? So like, that's my way of showing you love and really supporting you, showing that you really have a fan and buying the album off you.
Yeah,
you know
I agree heavily with the notion of memories being attached to the physical object. Mm-hmm. And because when I go through my vinyls, it's like I know when I got these. Yeah. I know I got this for Christmas, or I got this for my anniversary, or I got this. This was my first vinyl that I got, or that I was bought for. So I definitely feel you when it comes to like the material and actually holding that in your hand and having memories behind that. That's what really matters, and that's the reason why we make music, right? Yeah. That's the reason why we make art, is to create memories, things that hold weight for timeless. Yeah. That are timeless. Yeah. So, but while we're still going back on your backstory, I want to know, because you grew up in a different time than it is now. Yeah. So what was the biggest moment where you felt like you had to switch things up? Which was conflicting. That it was a big conflict in your life, and you had to switch up, or you had to regroup.
As far as music goes,
music at first, yeah. Let's stay with that.
I would say right before November 3. I'll never forget it. I had put out November 2, and then I think his name was, what's his name? I think Mark Bland. He heard the album, and he was like, "Man, this is a dope project, but like you just got all album cuts." And he was like, you need to, make some stuff that people can, like ride to and, like bop. Like you need to make a bop. You know what I'm saying? Something you put on the radio, we wop the wham. Then my next go round, when I worked on A Beautiful Ugly, then that's when, I worked on Chi Chi and, other records. But taking that advice, like that was my first song that was placed on radio, and I started being more versatile with my beat selection. It was more like soulful and really thought provoking, you know what I'm saying, bar heavy instrumentals at first. Then I started, practicing with different genres and like pop, boom, pop, trap and R&B, soul, go-go, neo soul type of instrumentations, and that really helped me become a better artist. Just all around. I could be like very versatile with my subject matter, my flows, animations. So like taking that advice from him really just helped me kind of get out of a box. You know what I'm saying, and just be everywhere.
So who laid the foundation for you in terms of music?
Like far as like the artists that inspired me, or like just like a person that I know that I like. Hold on, like an artist that inspired me, or somebody that
like a mentor?
I grew up with. Okay, a mentor. Like I said, like growing up, like getting started in music, I was just learning everything on my own. It was trial and error. But when I started getting into the scene and meeting people, I would say Tefpo was one. You know what I'm saying? He was definitely one. Not more so on the rap part, but just like the business part and just getting out here and getting it on your own. I seen him do a mixtape with DJ Smalls. Like a lot of these things we thought it was unattainable, and then seeing somebody from the crib being able to do it, that inspired me to do it. So I did an album called The Mashup, and I reached out to DJ Smalls and got him to host it, and learning how to put together my own shows and things like that, like how to using a live band, you know what I'm saying, for a show. Like Tefpo was one of the first that we seen do that. Now Midwest Avengers, they're credited for being the first St. Louis group to have hip hop group to have a live band. But like for me, I seen Tef, and then seeing them book shows. Then we took that blueprint and started booking our own shows, or getting popular DJs to host mixtapes and things. As far as like sharpening my sword, just the cats that I grew up with. I do History, Louis Boy, that was part of Step and Get Left. So just rapping with them every day, you know what I'm saying? I'm knowing they gonna come with it, so I had to make sure I was on my game. And I learned from learn from them different things that to make my style better. Louis Boy was a great performer, very great with hooks too. So that made me become a better performer because I'm on stage with him, and that made me work on my hook game better. His History was a great rapper, you know what I'm saying? He's just very bar heavy, great freestyler too. So I had to make sure that my pen was sharp, being on tracks with him. I also worked heavy with the Domino Effect. That's another like STL group here. It's a legendary group. So just working with Steve and Q, had to make sure that my pen game was sharp and my flows was on point. Q was a producer too, so that inspired me to become a producer. My boy Kassan, he was a producer, rapper, singer. He did it all, had crazy flows. So doing things with him, that made me like try new, pockets with my flow. T-Dub-O, that's my right hand man. So
yes, sir. Shout out to him.
One of the greatest lyricists, from the crib. So of course, rapping with him, I gotta come correct. You know what I mean?
Course.
Because working with these different people just took me to new heights. I learned from them all, and vice versa. So they helped me become better.
That's beautiful, man. And it seems like you and T-Dub-O are pretty close.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Yeah, man. That's my dude.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's bro.
Yeah, that's my dog as well, man. Yeah. I love being around him. I love seeing him on stage, and I saw him and you on stage for the first time last year during the St. Louis Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
So I do want to reflect on that, man.
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah. So would you say that's one of a highlight of your career?
Yeah, man. That's one of the, I think the thing that me and A Game did for the city. That's definitely one of that was the greatest rap beef for St. Louis, back and forth.
Man, y'all were going back and forth.
Yeah,
man.
bro.
It was dope, man.
Yeah, I had fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I had fun. It was a great back and forth. A Game is a great competitor. He's a dope MC. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
So I know I had to come with it. Because I I respect him as a rapper, you know. So like it wasn't no playing around in regards to that, taking him lightly. We had a great event. It was a great turnout. Nobody got hurt. Everybody, you know, we had a packed house. Everybody was there to see a show. We put on a show, and to me, I think that was, if not the best show of 2025. You know, it had a story behind it. It was very intense, but it also showed that, you know, we can still be competitive without any violence happening and make money together.
That's what I love the most, man. Yeah. Is that we made money together and nobody got hurt. Yeah. And I'm glad that we had sportsmanship behind it, but also the intensity was there. Yeah. So it had a great balance of all those aspects, man. Yeah. So how did that come about? Was that something that you guys pitched together, or was it your idea, his idea?
So we it started with a record that I did called Special St. Paul. He thought I was dissing him, but I wasn't. Like the bar that I said, it was actually bigging him up. You know what I mean? It wasn't a diss, but I guess he took it that way. And then we ended up doing a cipher that Booming Visuals had. And so it was me, him, Ron G, Tank the Machine, and MC Trays. And so I already had my verse ready, but people was like, I don't know, you may want to have a different verse because, you know, I feel A-Gang gonna say something slick, you know. So as the day was approaching, like the cipher, like he just started talking extra crazy.
So I do remember seeing that cipher.
So I was like, all right, man. Well, yeah, let me go ahead and make another verse. You know what I mean? So like, I had 2 verses ready. I read the room, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna use my second verse. And I'm glad I did because his verse was definitely directed towards me the whole way. So, you know, he ended up, you know, stumbling a couple times. So we was clowning him for it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people had me as the victor of that cipher. You know what I'm saying? And so he hit me up and was like, hey, you know, I got an idea. Let's do he said, because T-Dub was like, we need to do a rappers versus battle rappers event here. The main event would be Bo and A-Game, and then other artists can battle. You know, other actual like artists that make music, they can battle each other like a smack style. Yeah. And so A-Game hit me up and said, yeah, we can do like a battle, but not that type of battle. And so he came up with the idea of, you know, having a show and you know, going back and forth with like songs. And then we created, you know, we, you know, went from there. But yeah, he came up with the idea for, you know, making the event, and then we just placed it together. But it was good though, because at first I wasn't with it. I was like, man, we should battle, you know, have an actual battle. Yeah. But I'm actually glad that, you know, we stuck with his original idea, you know what I'm saying, with having the songs and everything. It made the event more liver, you know what I'm saying, and it was a better fit.
Yeah, so we had Jeremy from Hip Hop DX too there, so like we had a lot of notable people there. Yeah. So and that made me so proud to see like our city getting recognized. Yeah. And you guys being at the forefront of it. So thank you for being a general on that front. Yes, sir. And shout out to everybody else was at that event too, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to A-Game, and you know, shout out to his team over there. You know what I'm saying? Like they got a good team. They work, you know, pretty well, and you know, yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that was involved. It was a great event, and you know, it definitely helped for both of us. You know what I'm saying? Definitely put a spotlight on me. You know what I'm saying? And a spotlight on him. People that weren't familiar with him, you know, got familiar, and vice versa.
Of course. Yeah, that's where I learned about both of y'all, man. Yeah, so man. If anything, I got familiar to everybody in that room.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm glad that I was part of it, man. Yeah. My only gripe was I had to drive that far, but that was about it. You know what?
So we actually, I wanted it to be in the city, you know, where everybody, you know, that's a more mutual spot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everybody goes to stuff in the city and things like that. But, you know, he had connects with Diamond Music Hall.
Very nice venue.
Very
though, by
nice
the way.
venue. And at the end of the day, people complain, but it was still a pack house.
Yeah, of
You know
course.
what I mean? So like we didn't lose nothing with having it there.
I agree. So a little over a year after, what are the things that you reflect on the most about that night?
We need more events where it's like a story behind it to get people invested, and we need more events where fans can engage or interact, you know what I'm saying, with the event, having other things to do besides like the music aspect. Now that was a musical aspect, you know what I mean, but just me thinking, further with making shows, like I really want to get into doing shows where it's more engagement from the audience. So there's other things for the audience to do than just sit and listen to music. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I've really been pondering about, like moving forward. It's just making it an experience. That's the word. Having an experience. You know what I mean? Not just coming to a show and just listening to music and then you go. I want an experience. Or even if it's just coming and listening to music, but it has to be, something worthwhile for them to come.
Something unpredictable.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's one thing that I left with that. And just with teamwork, you know what I'm saying? Having everybody on the same page, that will also, make an event more successful. You know what I mean? So like those are the two things that I left with that. We work together and be on the same page, promote and get everybody, excited, for whatever we having. We can make money. We can make money together.
Indeed.
Everybody wants to kind of veer off and do their own thing, but if we put our heads together, we can do much more.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. What was is there anything that you felt like you won't do again from that moment? Whether if it was a bar, whether if it was planning.
Nah, I caught a lot of slack for like the dude. It was a dude that was like a PDF. You know what I'm saying? That was in one of his videos, and I talked about it, exposed it. But my thing was, hey, like, you put dude in the video, dude is in your video that you diss me in, and he, in the background giving it the approval, then, it's fair game. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put that out about him. You know what I mean? But anybody else, if it's a stray, it's a stray. But if like he was that, I like wouldn't even have done the battle. You know what I'm saying, with him. And if that type of smear was on his name, I would let him know, hey, this is on your name. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's true or not, but you might want to look into that.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So that's that. Once that got released, then it kind of got hectic for a little minute. But other than that, though, like that's probably, and I wouldn't even change that. But that's probably the thing that kind of made it more intense. But like I said, cooler heads prevailed, and it was cool.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. So when all that prevailed, we're not even a year into what happened with the Drake and Kendrick beef, and then all the other sub beefs that happened afterwards.
Yeah.
And I believe after you guys, that's when like the whole Joey Badass saga happened and everything. And there has been a lot of discourse about beefs and competition in hip hop. There are I felt like there were a lot of beefs that were kind of fabricated just to make money.
Yeah.
And then there were ones like Drake and Kendrick that were actually real. The backstory behind this has been going on for over a decade and everything.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on beefs and competition in hip hop?
Oh, it's needed. It's needed, man. Like,
I agree.
I'd rather go back and forth on a record than, physical confrontation.
Indeed.
But, going back and forth on a record can lead to physical confrontations as well. So, I mean, it's kind of like a catch-22. But I like it. Like, rap is a competitive sport. You know what I mean? Some of the greatest moments in rap was because of rap beefs. Jay-Z versus Nas.
Yeah.
Jadakiss versus Beanie Siegel. 50 Cent versus Ja. You know what I mean? So, like, those are some of the greatest moments. And the Drake versus Kendrick, that is, as of right now, the greatest rap beef, of hip hop history right now. In like regards to just the competitiveness and the story behind it, and that's still being talked about to this day.
And you used the instrumental for 616 too, as well.
Yeah. That was my favorite.
That was my favorite record too.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite Kendrick record off the beef with him and Drake. So I had to use that, man. Like, yeah, shout out to Kendrick. Kendrick went surgical, man.
Indeed, man. Indeed.
Yeah. That was with my battle with A Game. I took those elements from the Drake and Kendrick beef. Like, I created like a Family Matters type of record with different switch ups and everything. I had a Meet the Grams type record. I took the 616 and what else? I had a Push Ups type of record, like an Anthem type of record, or Not Like Us. So I just used those formats when I went against A Game, and
man, incredibly calculated, bro. Incredibly calculated.
Yeah, and I say, man, with like when artists go against other artists, never take them lightly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It don't matter how they showed up prior. You got to treat them like they Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying, to Kendrick.
That's what Brandon was telling KB yesterday. It's like there are some people that can definitely give you a problem.
Yeah.
So, and KB is a guy that has a chip on his shoulder, and sometimes with him being young, that can be that can blindside him sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we were able to remind him, like, hey, there's some killers in this competition.
Yeah.
But don't forget that you're one too.
Yeah. So,
but what do you feel about the discourse now about rap beef being like it's overblown, or it's just ways for people making money? Because I feel like there are some fake beefs that are just promotion at the end of the day. I love the records that Joey did, but I feel like there was a tad bit of performative aspects to it, because he did drop an album literally like right after that happened.
I mean, that's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's smart marketing. Like, and he called out Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, with Joey's situation, he called out Kendrick, and Kendrick's label mates jumped in. If Kendrick never would have said nothing, after Joey dropped that first one, like that sneak diss on that record, nothing would have came from it, and Joey still would have dropped his album like whenever he had it ready to go. That's true. You know what I mean? But since Daylight and the other cats jumped in, he's like, all right, cool, man, it's fair game. You know what I mean? All that did was just help him, bring momentum to what he was, preparing to drop.
And he still won.
Yeah,
in my
man,
opinion,
bro.
He still won.
I like Joey Badass. I'm a huge Unique fan on Power. That's my favorite character. But I respected him as an MC. But I didn't know he could get down like that, though. You know what I mean? And that made me, have even higher respect for him. I was like, dang, bro, like the last song that he did, like the West Coast type vibe. Yeah. I was like, man, I didn't know Joey could get into a pocket like this. And he had Loaded Lux on the record and all of that, bro. I was like, God damn. Yeah. But with beefs, though, with rap beefs, man, that brings out the best in, artists. You know what I mean? Like, that brings out the best in us. It like brings out a side to show people like, hey, bro, like, I ain't the one. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so many people jumped in on that too. I remember I had my phone on standby the entire time. It was just like somebody dropped literally like 10 minutes after one another. So,
and they all fell to the wayside by Joey. That's crazy.
Yeah, insane.
And that was a cool thing with me and A Game too. Like, we was dropping back to back on like Instagram and everything with like the disses. Then we had more in the clip for the show, so like that's where it goes back to just like that competitive nature and bringing out the best in, you know what I'm saying, your opponents and stuff like that. It was a story behind it that made people invested and wanted to, you know, come and see, you know what I'm saying, the spectacle.
I agree it's needed, man.
Yeah.
I agree it's needed because, I mean, that's what makes the sport in this genre so exciting. That's what separates us from R&B and from soul, from rock. It's like, not saying that nobody has ever dissed anybody in those genres, but it's like we're known for that.
Yeah.
That's what hip hop is for. It's not only to move the crowd and create new ways, but it's also just like if there's a certain issue that needs to get off, but let's do it through music rather than do it in a way that has been hurting our communities for so long.
Facts. Like, you feel that you better than me. Okay, now this your chance to prove it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Show me that you better than me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the best way to do it is do it the way we know how. You know what I'm saying? Through the music.
Agree. So let's take a little detour. We did talk about Kendrick, and you do have a Kendrick album with you. One of the best hip hop albums of all time.
Bruh.
I'm more of a To Pimp a Butterfly fan.
Okay.
But I mean, Good Kid, Mad City is what got me into Kendrick. I was in 8th grade at the time when he dropped that. So, so reflecting on this album, what do you love about this album? What has inspired you from this album?
You know, I'm a big storyteller. Very good at storytelling. I've been doing that since I first started, and this is the best storytelling album, hip hop album ever made. You know what I mean? When I first heard of Kendrick from swimming pools. I didn't know who dude was.
Yeah, me too. I saw the music video on MTV.
Yeah,
and I was like, who is this?
And I was hearing people talk about it on Facebook. Like, man, swimming pools, man, Kendrick up next, and who out the wham. So I finally checked it out. I was like, dang, this dude, you know, he's different. I like the flow. The single was catchy, but he had a message to it, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you listen to it in the album, it's like it's a club banger, but at the same time, when you listen to the lyrics, I'm like, oh, it's kind of depressing. Like it like you're talking about alcoholism and getting drowned in that and drowning yourself away from pain and everything. So it was so dope to hear the correlation from it as a single, and then the difference when you put it in with the rest of the story that the album tells. Yeah, man.
And like, so I heard that, and then I seen a clip on World Star of Snoop Dogg, Game, and Dr. Dre crowning him as the new king of like the West Coast. And I said, dang, this dude must be a big deal. So I started, you know, going back to Section 80 and Rigor Mortis and, you know, Hold Up. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, dude got some shit. And then when the album dropped, and I listened to it from start to finish, like no skips. Like I let everything play, you know, from start to finish, and like the story that he weaved into each song. I was like, bro, this is
with the voicemails and all that.
Yeah, man, it was like a movie. I've never heard nothing like that before, you know, from a rapper.
If you notice, I believe it's on the bottom or on the back. It says a film by a short. So it says on the front, Good Kid, Mad City, a short film by Kendrick Lamar, and he went in to talk about like how if you listen to Real. That was my favorite song for a very long time. Yeah, I love Real. I love Real. And at the end of that song, after the voice message of him saying like, of his mom saying like, I love you and everything, like you got to take care of yourself and everything. I'm sorry about hearing, spoiler alert, about hearing your friend dying and everything. You could hear the tape just get cut and rewind. And then it goes to Compton. And that's like the prologue of the whole story, because at the end of that song he says, I'm about to take the van out, I'll be back in like 15 minutes, and then you can just start from the top of the album. And just man I can sit here and talk all day about Kendrick and just his storytelling and how good of an artist he is, man. And I'm so happy to see where we've gotten from then to the GNX. Because GNX is like, it's not a storytelling album at all, but it's just like, after everything that you've done, like you deserve to have a victory lap. Just like have fun. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's what he did with like that one. Everybody's like, oh man, he don't make no bops and who all do him. GNX was that.
You know what I mean? He said, okay, I can show you how to make I can make bops. I can do something for the ladies. I can, do all the stuff that, my counterpart is doing. I could do that too in my own unique way. And he did it with Gen X.
And that's a follow-up album. GNX is a follow-up album to his probably most vulnerable album ever, like Mr. Morale.
Oh, man.
And I love Mr. Morale so much. I remember when it first came out in 2022, like so many people were hating on it. And I'm like, this was early in my spiritual journey too. So it was like I was really resonating and connecting with everything that he said. And I'm like, I see you for who you are and the spirit that you are, and being vulnerable and being honest and the situations with your wife, the situations with your family, addiction and trauma and black trauma in general. I'm like, we needed a record like that. Yeah. And a lot of people, especially youth, don't understand that. And hopefully with years to come, especially with the artistry that you put for the city, put on for the city as well. Yes, like we can learn from that.
Yeah, man. Like I'm at a point now where like making hit records and stuff like that I'm not trying to chase that. If like one come along, we come along. But my music since the beginning has always been to make music of things to make people think and speak about my feelings and things I went through and stuff like that, like creating actual art.
American Dreams is a good.
Thank you, bro.
Is a great song that made me think of this topic.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like just things that make people reflect on their decisions, or just life in general. And that's why I rock with Kendrick, the way I do. He's very good at painting a picture and making you think about life, or get you to see things from his point of view. That We Cry Together record on Mr. Morale. Yeah. Like, bro, that's one of the best storytelling records, that I've heard in recent time.
Oh, bro, I was clapping, like going crazy on that because he got killed on that record, first and foremost. Like, she killed him on that. And for good reason, because I think it just reflected the hard-headedness of men in conversations and arguments like that. Yeah. We kind of get in our head too much and allow the ego to come in, and that's the reason why we love our women. Yeah, is that they keep us grounded, but also it's just a reminder of, at the end of the song, they go back into sex and everything, like stop dancing around the conversation. Like for us to have love and for love to persevere, we need to have those conversations rather than have the argument and then go into something that just blindsides us. Yeah. And like swimming pools, alcohol is something that takes away the pain. Sex could be something in a way that takes away the pain as well. And Mr. Morale actually forced us, especially Mother I Sober, it made way for us to have these conversations of trauma rather than using even music to shield our way away from it. Yeah. So,
and the wild thing is, like, Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole, I believe, are like the biggest selling, rappers of this generation, and the most popular. Yeah. But radio and corporate media, they force all the other BS down our throats. Yeah. But them three, the ones that got subject matter, content, talk about thought-provoking things, these are the ones that everybody gravitates to and wants to hear. So that just goes to show that, people do want the real. And, having the contemporary music is cool, the fun party songs and things like that. It's cool because it's a place for that. But we don't want to hear that 24/7.
Of course.
You know what I mean? We want to hear some stuff with some substance. We all go through life. You know what I mean? And we need more songs where we can, relate to that. That's why people relate to Kendrick and Cole, even Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drake is the perfect dude to listen to when you talk, when you're going through it with your girl. You know what I mean? He be saying stuff I could feel like, damn, bro, I went through that. I understand. You know what I'm saying? So, those three are great for the culture, and
of course,
we need more people put in the forefront that are on those same type of vibes.
Yeah, and
there's plenty of people there.
Agreed.
But they not pushed to the front like they are.
Yeah, because not everybody wants to be a part of the algorithm.
Yeah.
And that's one of the bad things about getting deep into the industry is that you become the algorithm.
Yeah.
And I mean, and even though he's not in the hip hop, Prince was somebody that just warned us day in and day out that don't become part of the algorithm. Don't be a slave to the industry.
Yeah.
He even wrote slave on his beard. Like he just let everybody know that that this is the direction that the music industry is going towards. And not saying that it's never been that way, because it's always been that way into a certain degree. But now, like they said, with streaming, everything going into digital, I feel as if they're stealing so much away from the artists and from you as well.
Yeah.
So,
and that's like your boy Dirty Beats. What he was saying, like going back to selling music. You know what I mean? That's getting away from the machine. When we put our music on Spotify and with the distributors, we put them on their platforms. We helping them make money and we helping generate traffic to them. Yeah, like our music is on there, but at the end of the day, like we helping them generate, money. You know what I mean? And we still making pennies to a dollar.
yeah.
Off our blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I mean? So going back to Dirty Beats' point, yes, sell your music. You know what I mean? Sell your product. If people really, support what you do,
Yeah.
they're going to buy it.
I agree. And it's shifting that mindset from knowing when our next meal is going to be to wondering when our last meal is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these executives don't wonder about what their next meal is going to be.
Yeah.
They just wonder, when is my last meal? Like, when is everything going to stop?
Yeah.
And that's the type of mentality that we need to shift from. But instead of using artists as batteries to fund that type of lifestyle, we can do this together. We can create a platform for ourselves. And I don't know how to do that because I'm not a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
However, I can help. I'm always here for that. And I feel as if what mine is, that's what I'm doing.
This is helping.
Yes, sir.
We need more St. Louis in general needs more outlets for artists to be heard. This is one of those outlets.
I appreciate that,
what I mean?
brother.
So how, like if I was on Joe Rogan or something like that, how I would, hey, I'm on Joe Rogan, man, check it out. That's how artists need to treat this platform. So artists need to treat Connect the Dots, about Riley B. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Connect the Dots, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like how they would promote Sway in the Morning. They need to promote Connect the Dots like that. So, we have platforms, but we have to promote it like it's the best thing since sliced bread. You know what I mean? And that way it'll gain more attention on the platforms, and with more eyes on the platforms, when artists come on there, more eyes will be on the artists. So we helping each other, but like there are platforms, there's always been platforms made to showcase artists, but artists don't take it as serious because it's not big, like a Shade Room or Sway in the Morning and stuff like that. But we can help make it big. You know what I mean? So like it's up to us together to make, this platform bigger, Connect the Dots and, others.
I appreciate that, bro.
No,
Thank you.
For real.
Yeah. And what, since you've been in the game for a while and you've been in so many rooms like this and so many different platforms, what are things that you've learned from these platforms that a person like me or anybody else that's doing something similar to what I'm doing with Mine is Mine, in giving platforms to you guys, what is some wisdom that you would give to the youth in that aspect?
With anything, consistency. And, we in a time now where you're going to have to put some money behind your brand to get it viewed.
Yes.
Back in the mid 2000s, the mid 2000s, Facebook got smart. Facebook and Instagram, but especially Facebook, you could post a video, that mug could get 5, 10, 20,000 views without, putting ad money behind it, to like get
TikTok
it visible.
especially too.
Yeah. You know what I mean? To like get it visible to different people. But now they caught him like, damn, man, this dude getting 20, 30, 40,000 views. Let's start, switching up the algorithm. Now they got to pay, you know what I'm saying, to get targeted audiences or to get more people to view, you know what I'm saying, stuff. But, it works. But that's one thing that I would say, for, vlogs, like you said, the podcasts and just people in general. Now you're gonna have to put money behind, your product, unless it just has legs of its own. You know what I mean? Like if you drop a post and it just catch fire, you know what I mean? That's different. But if you posting stuff and it's getting decent traction, but you want it to expand more, then you got to market it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's one thing I've learned is you have to invest in yourself.
Got to.
And I've known that you probably heard that, or I've heard that, or anybody else that's listening to this has heard that so many times. Invest in yourself, but you don't know the power of that investment until you actually commit to it. Until you actually practice that.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes the investment, most of the time, that investment is your time. Your time, your industry, your energy. Are you willing to place things on the side for you to just focus on this one thing? Because there's so many things in this world that is such a distraction. And that's trying to take away your attention, because that's the world of capitalism, right?
Big facts.
Everything is trying to take your attention, because if I have your attention, then I'm one step closer to your pocket. And that's the beauty of what I do here. I'm not trying to ask for anybody's money at all. I'm good with the investments that I make on myself. And if I get to the point where I earn an investment from somebody else, then that's a blessing. But investing in yourself, it's so invigorating, man. I love it. I love it. Now that I've gotten into the swing of things and found my own system of how to do it, I love it, man. And I'm still paying off this camera, but I use it all the time.
And that's all that matters, bro. So all that matters. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, and you being consistent with it, getting better, you're gonna see results. Like a lot of people be happy, they be excited at first starting something, and then when they don't see instant results, they start to lose, they like start to lose the love for it, and they go to something else. With like music, especially, you gonna have your highs and your lows, and you just got to keep going. That's all it is, and you can't give up. You can't give up.
One thing that's unfortunate too is that this country specifically, it promotes instant gratification. And we like to copy and paste that towards everything that we do. Is that if I do this one time, then I'm going to get this amount of satisfaction back. And it just doesn't work that way. And growing up with that type of mindset, it really hinders your ability to not only do that one thing that you are so passionate in doing, and so passionate in growing in, but also your confidence too. Man, there's so many times in this journey, specifically with the podcast, that I didn't have the confidence to speak about what I actually felt. But now getting that repetition, and even just in episode 34, I have that confidence. And even if I don't know everything that you're talking about, or I still feel questionable of some of the things that I ask, just ask it and just see where it takes you, honestly. So,
bro. Episode 34, man.
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of episodes, man.
I did there was a stat about podcasts. It was I think 90% of it, or 95% of podcasts fail after episode, I think it was 15. I could be wrong. Like most podcasts don't make it to episode 15, so I'm glad to double that number.
I can believe it.
Yes, sir.
I can believe it, bro. I had a podcast. It was called, what was that? We had a couple. It's called I had the Show Me Show. That was one. That was back in the 2010s, and that kind of fizzled out. That was because like the studio that we was in, like my guys started working and things like that. So, if the whole team's not part of the podcast, you know, it was just like, you know, I ain't trying to do it by myself. Then I had one with Haku. Shout out to Haku. It's called STL versus Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we did a lot of episodes. Then he, you know, took a step back to raise his family, and so I started running it on my own. But that's just a lot of work.
Indeed.
Me in school, teaching, being a rapper, and other things. Like, I just got tired of doing that on my own. And, you know, booking things, sometimes people don't show up. You put all this time and effort into your podcast. Some people don't even want to share it, or, you know, things like that, man. So, you know, yeah, I can understand why people will, you know, give up after 15 episodes, because it's a lot of work that goes into it, you know. But also, you know, you got to have a gift for it. You know what I mean? Like, I could tell that you're naturally gifted in, you know, this profession.
Appreciate
you know,
that, man.
And like, you welcome. You know what I'm saying? And you put your you know, a lot of time and effort in putting this together and like making it your own. You know, so like, this is definitely gonna go far. You just gotta stay consistent, bro. Gotta stay consistent, and you know, find your audience, and go from there.
Gratitude, brother.
This
Thank
is dope,
you.
bro. This is very, very, very dope.
Yes, sir. Next step is getting the studio. So
you get there.
yes, sir.
You get there right now. This is a studio. It's just under renovation.
Of course.
That's all it is, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
So to pivot a little bit, because you're not just a rapper, you're a very versatile person.
Yes, sir.
And I'm huge in terms of helping the youth, protecting our youth, giving wisdom back to our youth, and wanting to see them be better than us.
Yeah.
Rather than, you know, teaching them everything that we did and having our wisdom be a ceiling when it should be a foundation.
Yeah.
You're a vice principal.
Yeah.
And you don't see that every day. You don't see somebody that's deep into a school district or into teaching like that, but also is a rapper on the side, or is an artist as well. What is it like balancing those two aspects of life?
Man, it's really like a superhero, bro. I be trying to keep my identity hidden of what I do outside of school. Just because I don't like to bring that into the workplace. You know what I mean? But it's cool though. Like, you know, especially when I worked in high school, like kids, people gonna find out regardless.
Of course.
And plus, a lot of people in the city know me. And what's crazy is like a lot of kids, you know, from schools I taught at, like, I know their uncles or aunties or cousins or brothers or whatever, you know, mothers, dads. So, you know, that's just something that I had to, you know, just accept. So that's why I be real conscious with the type of music that I make and the type of videos and stuff that I put out, because of that. Cause
you're conscious when you get in the booth.
I'm always under like a microscope. I'm like walking a very thin line, and I try to keep in mind that, you know, kids do, you know, watch my stuff, you know, and like their parents, you know what I'm saying, know of what I do and things. So it's cool, like especially when I work with the high schoolers, you know, I was someone they could go to for guidance in regards of, you know, music. I've actually recorded some students' first records.
Man, that's dope.
You know, battled some battle rappers who I was their first battle in, you know, my classroom, and, you know, now they doing their thing in battle rap. And so, you know, I have fun. Like, I like to, you know, help kids find their talent, and whatever I can do to help, you know, give them a push or push them in the direction of people that I know that can help them. That's what I'm gonna do.
What was the spark that made you want to get into be in the school system and be around the youth?
Man, I had a teacher named Mr. Cool. His name was Kevin Cool, and he looked like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was about 7th and 8th grade social studies teacher. You know, but he was the coolest teacher ever. I said, man, if I become a teacher, I'm gonna be like him. You know what I mean? He made education fun. He wasn't into music or anything like that, but he was just a great teacher. You know, I was excited to come to his class every day. You know what I mean? So that's what inspired me to become a teacher. And I was already, good at, English, because, I was a rapper and putting words together. So that's what I taught for 10 years, English. So that was already something that, that was in my repertoire and my skill set. So I was like, shoot, if I'm going to, get into a career, I might as well do something that I'm good at. So reading and, playing with words and teaching words and grammar, that was a no-brainer. And I actually come from a lineage of educators. My auntie was an educator.
Nice.
My grandma was an educator. So I come from people that have already been in this field too. So
that's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you for doing that on both ends, as an artist, but also as a teacher, man.
Appreciate it. It's a beautiful experience, bro. Like even now, just having kids that I taught years ago, I see them out or they reach out and thank me for just being a positive figure in their upbringing. So they say education is a thankless job. It's not a thankless job. It just, those seeds that you sow just take time to grow. You know what I mean? But eventually, it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Indeed.
So yeah.
So I'm assuming that you have the same mindset, not only protecting our artists and our young artists too, but our students and our teachers as well.
Yeah.
Especially being in a country that I believe our teachers are being severely underpaid. And they have such I don't want to say a burden, because I feel like when you say a burden for teachers, you treat the students as a burden.
Yeah.
And there definitely are some bad kids out there.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, there's so many other factors that goes into that. We shouldn't just knock them off or shouldn't just write them off or anything like that.
Yeah.
What is it like to be in a position where you see other teachers that are being underpaid or underappreciated and not given the tools? Because I mean, this is the education system as in general isn't made for us to succeed in, especially as Black youth.
Yeah.
Especially, in a lot of our majority Black schools are being discredited now. And losing credibility. I had a friend of mine who was a teacher, and she was in Hazelwood Central, and they lost credibility. So what is it like seeing that around you, and how do you put that into your life to make the initiative to do better and to create change?
I would say, man, so I went back to school to become a principal or to get my degree in administration, to make more pay. I know it wasn't going to change being a teacher, and I got other, dreams and aspirations. Eventually I want to have a family and, kids and stuff. So, it'll be hard to make, to really provide on a teacher salary. Teachers don't really start making bread, like a comfortable salary in most urban districts, until they like 15, 20 years in. You know what I mean? That's, or like, unless you got some, like, you got a master's or something like that, right, then, that'll help boost. But other than that, once you get 15, 20 years in, that's when you're making, your 80, 90,000 and stuff like that. But that's too long, man. I was like, man, I'm about to, I was getting burnt out in the classroom too. Like I'm doing all this, working extra hard, and still not making what I feel I deserve.
Of course.
So, one of my mentors, he always told me, man, you need to get into administration. Mr. Malone, basically, you need to get into administration and let these young teachers, take your place. So after a while, after 10 years, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pursue my.
That was a good accent, by the way.
Thank you. After a while, man, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to school and get my, administration certification. And I wish I would have did it once, like right after I graduated. My dad would say, man, just get your master's and, doctorate once you graduate. Just keep going and just get it out. By the time you're 30, you'll be, good. So I didn't listen. I was tired of school. But I ended up going back and getting it, and I'm glad I did. Being like a principal, you see the whole chessboard. Like being a part of administration, you see the whole chessboard. So instead of just working with, one class, and your group of kids each period, you're dealing with everybody. You're working with all the students, all the teachers, all the parents, all the staff, so like you juggling multiple hats.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you seeing, everything. And like you always the bad guy, you know what I mean? Like the principals are the bad guys, all the blame's getting put on you, you know what I mean? Whether you did it or not. If your staff did it, still like you the one that's gotta take the rep for it.
Have you ever seen that old sitcom, Ned Declassified School Survival Guide off Nickelodeon?
No, man, I ain't seen that, but you had to shoot me the link.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it was hilarious, man. It's like one of those older Nickelodeon sitcoms like Drake and Josh and that. But nah, man, it's so ridiculous. But the vice principal, completely opposite of you. Some dude from Miami has like flamingo LED lights. He has like the white blazer with the pink shirt on, like he's a mob boss and everything, and like he's just the villain of the whole series, man. It's so funny.
That's my type of guy, bro.
Yeah.
That's my type of guy.
But when you said that you were a villain, that image just popped in my mind, so I didn't know if you seen it or not. I'm gonna shoot you a link.
Please do, bro.
I got you.
Yeah, it's man, being a leader, and my goal really was to be more of a leader, take a leadership role, you know what I'm saying, in my career and just in general.
You have that natural talent too.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Of course.
And being in this role has really helped with that, just in everyday life, making quick decisions and, really thinking about, the whole chessboard. It's a tough job, man. It's a tough job. I got a great head principal, Mr. G. I'm learning a lot from him, and just all my bosses, throughout the years, like just going back and analyzing them and what they did as principals was really inspiring. Like they were great bosses. And when I get my own school, when I become like a full principal one of these days, like I hope I can be just as good. Right now, I'm still learning.
Of course,
I'm still learning. It's a lot to learn, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, it's crazy how you could be at one of the top positions in the school, but find yourself still being a student. Yeah, man. Always a student of everything, even with like rap. I'm a student still, and learning from y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like like the new cats. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm always learning. Always. That's what life's about. You know what I'm saying? It's to learn and continue to be a sponge. You know what I mean? Indeed, man. There's no cap until you set one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that's such an interesting dichotomy too. I do have two questions, but I'm very interested about this one in particular because as a rapper, there's an image behind that.
Yeah.
And some of those images can be so overblown and stereotypical, but you being a teacher as well, have you gotten into a situation with a parent, a staff member, or even a student where they found out that you were a rapper and saw you in a completely different image due to stereotypes or what in their mind what rapping is all about, the drugs and stuff like that, when that's not what you rap about at all?
Not far as negative, but they thought that I would have like buku money and stuff like that. Oh man, you a teacher, like what you doing being a teacher, you know what I'm saying? You a rapper and stuff like that. So I gotta let them know, like, hey, rap ain't what it's cracked up to be.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like just cause I'm a rapper doesn't mean, and I'm, fairly known, that doesn't mean that I'm, rich. it's still a very long road to get there, or just to even be, globally or nationally, known. It's a very, it's, you can't just drop a song and it just blows up overnight. That don't work for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a very long road.
And TikTok has definitely caused some illusion with that too as well. Like get a song out of nowhere and have it on reels all over the place. But a lot of the times when that happens, you probably never hear from that artist ever again. Yeah.
And then with, just cause like a song go viral, like that don't mean nothing. That don't mean you're going to make a lot of money from it. You know what I mean? Like, like kids just have like their perspective on being famous it's not logical. You know what I mean? They just see like you getting a lot of views and you on social media, but they don't know what goes behind it, or when you're offline, you know what I mean? Like
Indeed.
they think like they see the cars and the nice clothes or whatever for certain rappers, and they think that that's how most of them really are. Even with the trap rappers, they see what they see on these videos and they try to emulate those lifestyles.
Indeed.
And a lot of times, like, they don't even be on that, but like the kids don't know no better. So like when they see it, they be on that type of time.
Of course.
Especially in, our urban areas. It's important for, artists to talk to kids and let them know what's real and what's entertainment. And as a teacher and as a rapper, I try to have I had those talks a lot with my students, you know what I mean, about what's real, what's fake, you know what I'm saying, or what's for show.
Yeah.
And it's important for, artists to have those talks with like kids, because they will get it, misconstrued and, try to follow an artist's footsteps, with things that they do.
Yeah, and that made me think of an excerpt of an interview that Waka Flocka did, where he compared the mentality that he had when he first got in the game and blew up to compare to where he's at now, where he thought the image for himself was blowing up and then going back to the block in a Rolls Royce and just showing off how much money you got. Now he says the best thing that I could do now is buy the block instead of roll down the block that I grew up in and stunt. Now I can buy the block because I'm rolling down the street that I don't even own. Yeah. So, and you definitely seem like the type of person that is more of buying the block than stunting on the block type of person. Yeah. So,
and I don't even want people to know I got money, bro.
Yeah.
I don't even want to like flaunt it or flash it or anything, because even now as an assistant principal, like people just think I'm rich. Oh man, I still got bills and things to pay. Yeah, I'm better off than what I was, but man, I can't provide for everybody.
Yeah, more money, more problems, right?
Yeah, man. But yeah, I went back to school too. Just elevating, be able to really put more money behind the music.
Yes,
that was the main goal. Like, all right, man, I know, I'm gonna need more capital to put into my craft. So that's the main reason why I really went back to school. Like, music was the motivation. I know I said family and stuff too down the line, but like music was that motivation.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Instead of doing other things. I'm too old to go to jail, bro. I ain't trying to do nothing illegal, man. So it's like, I'm gonna stick with my profession, what I'm good at, elevating my career, make more income, and put it into the music.
Yes, sir. That's the only way to be, right?
Yeah.
Two-parter.
Yeah.
What have you learned from music that you applied to being a principal? And then vice versa, what have you learned in the school system and apply that to music?
What I'm going to start doing, so my head principal, he found out that I rap. He followed the music and everything, and he told me this year. He told me this several times. He was like, you gotta be more of Bodine in this role sometime, in regards to just being more authoritative, you know what I'm saying, and just kind of just like, you know, this is me.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm still at a stage where, you know, I've been trying not to hurt people's feelings or, you know, things like that. I'm still trying to find my leadership style.
Especially working in the school, too.
Yeah, you know, and just fresh off being a teacher, like I know, you know, the ins and outs and, you know, the things that teachers be going through on a daily. So, but he was like, you know, you got to put more Bodine into your, you know, leadership, you know what I'm saying, skills. Like when I heard Bodine, I heard the, you know, the confidence and like just, you know, the firmness. So, hey, this is me, this is what it is. And you got to do that as, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Dean, you know what I'm saying, in this role. So
you can't have compassion without integrity.
Yeah. So, you know, just learning how to just really be like, hey, this is what it is. You know, you got to do this, get it done. No excuses. So just, you know, being more, you know what I'm saying, firm and just, you know, putting a stamp on, you know, my rules and, you know, guidelines of what I expect from my teachers. And then far as like, and what's the other part?
It would be vice versa. So what have you learned from being a principal, a teacher, being in school, and apply that to the music?
Oh man, well, just music business, just being more, and it's wild. So just being more precise on who I'm letting into my circle to work with me. Like people that's not motivated. If you're not really adding no value, I gotta cut you off.
Of course.
Kind of like in a job. Like if, you know, if you're not doing your job, I'm gonna have to let you go. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's what I, you know, do from, you know, my job aspect as in the music. Just being more calculated with who I allow into my circle to work with me and things like that. Being more, now it's wild because I'm now on that end, I'm more like direct and, you know, firm on my stances and stuff like that. So that's what I incorporate in the music. I mean, yeah, from being a principal to, you know, an artist.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that you found a balance with those, because a lot of people can, like I said, with the image, people feel like that image can really conflict with each other.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you found a balance and you're able to take what you learned from the school, apply it to the music and vice versa as well.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the root of it is not only bigging yourself up and becoming a better person and a more talented and skillful person, but at the end of the day, it's helping the youth at both ends.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's you know, I just always try to have just I won't say it like a clean image, but just, you know, I like try to just make sure I do right by people. You know what I'm saying? That's like the main thing. I just try to be a stand-up guy. I ain't perfect. I'm a mess up. You know,
you're a human being.
Yeah. But you know, I own up to it, and I just try to treat others just how I want to be treated. You know what I mean? That's
yes,
all.
Sir.
That's all. I just try to keep things professional, honest, and do right.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And just having a good name and a good reputation to take you far.
Now I can guess what the foundation for all this success, whether it's music, your personal life, school, I can probably throw in a good guess of what has been the main battery and the main generator of that. And that has been your faith and being one with God in that aspect.
Yeah, man. Like right now, I'm definitely I am gaining a better relationship with God. Like me and a couple of the homies, we made an agreement to read the entire Bible. You know what I mean? So like every Sunday we got like a Bible study and we talk about what we read. So like reading it from the beginning to the end. And the reason being is so like we can have a better understanding ourselves instead of just going off what pastors and other people say, you know what I'm saying, about the Bible.
Indeed.
And I also think it's important for everybody to read the Bible at least once. At least read it one time just to see for yourself, you know, what it's about. You know, like have your own judgment on, you know, the knowledge in it. And it's a great book, bro. I'm on 2 Samuel, so I'm still in the Old Testament, but the things that I've read so far, man, like it's been eye opening. It's getting me to see. Well, I have faith that God is real, but just certain things is in there. Like for instance, with when he flooded the earth the first time, you know, his covenant that he would never do it again was the rainbow. You know what I mean? That's something that we still see to this day. After when it rains, that's his promise to never destroy the earth again with, you know what I'm saying, water. You know what I'm saying? So a certain little nuggets in there that, you know, lets us know that, oh, you know, like, you know, he has left things to show that he's real. Even, you know, when I first went to California, you know what I'm saying, when I seen the oceans, the mountains, drove through Vegas.
Beautiful.
Saw the, you know, the deserts and, you know, canyons and things like that. Man, I was like, bro, like, it has to be a higher being to make all this stuff, for one to make it, put it together, even with the ocean, like, keeping it from just, you know, flowing offshore, you know, unless he wants it to, you know what I'm saying? No, it's a hurricane or something. I say it has to be something that's out there that made this possible. Yeah,
and we still trying to replicate the mountains that God has built. And even when we tried to get close, even with the Tower of Babel, it was struck down. Yeah. So
you know what I mean? And just think, like, right now, like, you're talking in your head, like your thoughts. You know what I mean? Like,
and you can observe those thoughts. Yeah, bro. Even like, beyond that.
It's crazy, right? Yeah. And then, like, you know, the way he made the human body, he gave us, you know, eyes to see, like a nose to sniff smells, a mouth to eat food and talk. The food that we eat, he made a place where it can come out of. You know what I mean? He made a place where liquids can come out of. He made, like, we can, you know, birth, you know what I'm saying, an offspring. And he gave us talents, you know what I'm saying? It's things that we can do to make our bodies stronger. Our bodies grow when we get older. Our bodies, you know what I'm saying, you know, go back to like an infant type state, you know. And when you die, you know, when I see dead people, you know, that's another thing that shows, like, you know, it's a spirit inside us. When you die, like, your body's just a shell. You know what I mean? That spirit fills it with life and color, and, you know what I'm saying? But when you die, it's just, you know, it's just there. It's, you know what I'm saying, lifeless, and it changes colors, and it shows that, man, it was something in it that brought it life. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it's just so many things.
It's like a costume. Yeah, bro. We're all playing a character at the end of the day. Yeah.
It's just so many things, you know, with life that just shows that, you know, it's something that it's something beyond here.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is what I love talking about. When I say mine is mine, it's like an affirmation. Yeah. I'm taking back my mind. Yeah. And that's why I have the I as big as it is, because when you get into that I am statement, that's who you are. Everything that you say after that is what your ego resonates with. Yeah. So if you were to say I am confident, you start to build that vibration and that reality of confidence, not only within yourself, but that reverberates outside of you. Yeah. So I love the name Mine is Mine, because I treat it like an affirmation. Yeah. And every time I say that, it just puts me on the path of, okay, how can I take back my consciousness? Yeah. And not allow the world around me to influence it to the point where I'm just part of a hive mind. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, this is I knew that you were a man of faith, not just by your music, but just by the way that you move. Yes, sir. You're very calculated, but also very quiet. You're an observer. Yeah. And I could tell that when I first met you during the Super Bowl, that everybody else was very, very, not everybody else, but the majority of people that were in that room are very loud, always very quick to speak, but you're just very reserved. Yeah. And you're like me in a way. Like I'm always the guy that's kind of just sit in the corner, and people wonder if I'm having a good time. I'm like, I'm always having a good time. Like, I love people watching. I love observing, because that's how I learn the most. Not just by doing, but just being and just observing other human beings as well. You can learn so much from being in certain rooms and not even saying a word.
Man, that's my name, Bodine, like best observer that ever analyzed nature. Like that's
hard.
That's my name.
That's hard.
What I'm saying? 'Cause I've always been an observer. Know what I mean? I just like to listen to people, you know what I'm saying, and just get to know them. And I'm more of a listener than, you know what I'm saying, a talker. And like, man, I talk so much at work. When I get off work, bro, I don't feel like talking.
Yeah, of course.
I talk all day, a mile a minute. Like the person here, completely different at school. I'm screaming, yelling, man, do this.
Yeah.
You know, but when I'm off work, I'm just well reserved, man. I'm just cool.
So do you have any practices that you go towards? So like prayer, I know you read the Bible too. Meditation is like top tier for me.
You know, sitting in silence, just that helps me be, because I'm always thinking and always on the move. My mind's moving a mile a minute. Like yesterday, I went to go get a massage, and I was just that hour, I was just quiet and in silence, and I just had time to just sit and think and reflect on just certain situations. And you know,
massage sounds good right now,
man. Help the boy out, cramping my neck and all that, but. Yeah, man, like just having time to just sit down in silence is, you know what I'm saying, a must for me. Even if I'm in my car, sometimes I'll just drive around for 30 minutes to an hour, you know what I'm saying, just to cruise and reflect. That's my office, you know, it's in my car, you know what I mean, I get it. So things like that is like my meditation. But I do pray, you know, I'm trying to get in a better habit of getting on my knees and pray in the morning and night before I go to bed than just laying down or waking up and just praying, you know, just in my mind. I try to get on my knees and, you know, really do it how, you know, I think God will want you to do it. You know, I got knees I got legs to get up and, you know, walk. I can get on my knees and say my prayers in the morning and before I go to bed. So trying to be more conscious of just doing that. I don't think he cares how you pray, but I just think it's the most respectful way to do it if I'm able to, you know. But yeah, bro, like, and just being on this journey, just getting closer with God, it helps me be less judgmental of everybody else, because we all sinners. We all, you know what I'm saying, we all mess up. We all do things that we regretted that we didn't. You know, Judgment Day, he gonna reveal all that, you know what I mean? So I'm throwing stones at you, you know what I mean? Like, it's things in my closet that, you know, I ain't, you know, too proud of as well, you know what I mean? So I always try to be mindful of that. I always try to be understanding, you know what I'm saying? And Black Kendrick said, you know, don't tell a lie on me. I won't tell the truth on you. You know what I mean? Exactly. So, you know, just let me be, and, you know, you'll be all right.
Yes, sir.
But, you know, yeah, man, just, you know, I just try to always remember that I ain't perfect. You know, I got things that I'm not proud of. And when people make mistakes, I try not to, you know, even really talk about it and gossip and things. Just hope they, you know, get their shit around.
Of course.
Even with Diddy, you know what I'm saying? When Diddy went through that whole thing, you know, I was just like, dang, that's messed up, and I hope he get it together.
Of course.
You know, he caught some bars though, but you know, you know, in the grand scheme of things, like I, you know, hope, you know, he can, you know, get better from like that. Cassie too, you know what I mean? Hope she can heal, you know, from that trauma and things, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, when I look at the issues that are happening in this world, and I'm huge into Buddhism. Okay. I got into Buddhism very early in my spiritual journey, which was around 2020, 2021. And first of all, it taught me the observation of your mind. Yeah. And one thing I kept doing when I get into meditation was trying to stop my mind. Not realizing that you can't stop it. The more that you try to stop it, the more louder it will get. The louder it will get. So just sit back, and I tell everybody that asks me about meditation, it's like cloud watching. You can't go up and try to stop a cloud or grab it. It's literally like credits rolling. You just watch it. Okay. And just observe it the entire time.
That's deep.
Yeah. That's deep. And it helped me so much, man, because I learned so much more about myself being in the observer, because when you put yourself in that position of the observer, you realize that, oh, I can observe my body, so I'm not my body, and I can observe my mind, I'm not my mind. So I'm a spirit, I'm a consciousness. Yeah. And that's where I find my power. And if I can find my power in my consciousness, I don't start by, I heard this off, you ever heard of Sadhguru? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said, we're doing things in reverse. It's supposed to be being, doing, having. But a lot of people want to have and then do and then be. Especially here in America, everybody feels like I need to get this so I can start doing this and then I can become this, without knowing that you already are that. And when you realize that you are that, then you can start doing that from that place of knowing. And then when you start doing that, that's when you achieve the materialism around you. So it's like literally the alchemization of the spirit of being to the material form of having it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's deep, bro.
Yes, sir.
And like the fact that you can, like they like you've, you know, I don't know, I want to say master. Have you mastered meditation, like the art of meditation?
I wouldn't say I mastered it. There's some days where I just forget to do it.
Yeah.
But whenever I get into that point, like I would say about, honestly, meditation, I've gotten so far into meditation where it's just like I'm not worried about time anymore. Yeah. Because there's a certain point, and it looks different for everybody. There's a certain point that I get into my meditation where I'm so deep, where I'm just like, everything else, it's like you're in a white void, essentially. Like everything around me just becomes light at this point. That's it just dope. Becomes, yeah.
But I've tried to just sit down and meditate. And like you said, man, like that's when the voices get louder.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm like, damn, I can't concentrate for shit.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn, like it's harder than people think it is. You know what I mean? So kudos to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I've definitely tried it several times. Like, let me just be quiet and just try to, sit and think. And it's just 1,000 things. You know, you gotta pay this bill. You gotta do that. You gotta do that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna definitely keep trying, though. I'm gonna definitely keep trying to do it.
For sure, man. And like I said, when you step into the position of an observer and realize that it's not about stopping anything, it's about letting it just do it.
Yeah.
Just let your mind go.
Yeah.
And if you can, the biggest thing is just the enlightenment of knowing that you aren't your thoughts.
Yeah.
And when that realization really settles in, no matter what thoughts come to you, you're like, I'm not that. I know I'm something greater.
Yeah.
It may reflect a certain situation that I'm going through or a certain way that I feel, but I'm something greater than these feelings and these thoughts. That's just a navigation for me to experience human life. Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. But beyond that, I know my spirit is one with the Creator. Yeah. So.
It's dope.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's the biggest thing that you've learned from the Bible?
Nothing new is under the sun. Just different drip from like that era. Everything, like we all go through the same things that they went through. It's just a big cycle. Like we just keep making the same mistakes. Betrayal, God. Like one thing I'm seeing, like with God and like the Israelites, man, like he constantly gives them chances, time and time again. He keeps trying to help his people, and they just keep like
with the golden calf and everything.
They just keep fucking up, bro. Like, and it was one point, man. I think it was in might have been in the book of Judges, maybe. But he was just like, it was one time he said, man, I'm wash my hands with y'all, man. But then he ended up, you know what I'm saying, helping them again and again and again, man. So God's grace is it's something that we take for granted. You know what I mean? And then once he removes that, man, we screwed. Yeah. You know, but that's the cool thing about life, man. He get like being down here, he gives you chance after chance after chance to get it together. So it's kind of like, man, like when you die and meet him, you know, if you believe in heaven and hell, then he like sends you there. You know, you kind of think like, dang, man, like this dude did give me plenty of chances, plenty of time to get it right, and I still, you know, couldn't get it right. If you know what I'm saying, about him and things like that. Temptation is something. It's hard, you know. Like, you know, and
and a system that promotes it too.
Yeah, bro. And like, lustful temptation is probably worse than crack and drugs, bro. That's constantly being thrown in your face and things like that. It's just as hard to get over as a person smoking crack and things like that, because it's constantly in your face. You're constantly seeing you know what I'm saying, a beautiful woman with a voluptuous body, or for like women, you seeing men with nice physiques and things like that, and everybody's easily accessible. Back when I was growing up, like everybody wasn't. I don't think we were meant to see all these people. We weren't meant to have access to all these people.
We're not supposed to have access to all this knowledge.
Yeah.
The age of information is just like, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's so dangerous too, because it's like I'm learning about other people's business that I don't need to.
Yeah.
And also, as soon as I get onto something like Instagram or Facebook, my data is being shared to people that I will probably never meet in this world ever.
Yeah.
And they're making money off that.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky world that we live in, man.
Yeah, man. It's so you just gotta, and that's one thing I like about Kendrick. You know what I mean? Like Kendrick don't be on social media, none. Kendrick he'll drop his music and like just leave off the face of the earth. He'll get off the grid.
And that's why it's so big. As soon as he steps outside, everybody's like, oh,
yeah,
because he's not being seen.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of him as a person. It's like, I don't have to be seen for me to be big.
Yeah. Him and Cole, like they just very mysterious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then you got Drake on the other hand, where he outside.
He's the center of attention everywhere he goes. Yeah.
I fuck with Drake though, man. That's my favorite. Drake's my favorite out of the big three. And that's probably because I watched him start from Degrassi to now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel that I grew with him, through his stages. I still think Kendrick is the best rapper of this generation though. You know what I'm saying? Just overall.
For sure. He's my favorite of all time, in my opinion. I had a conversation with somebody that was questioning if he's even close to like the level of Jay-Z. I'm like, I understand why you would not put anybody close to Jay-Z, because it's Jay-Z. I mean, but I would have to put him in that conversation along with Nas and
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Jay, to me, Jay is the GOAT. Like I think he's not my favorite rapper. He's in my top 5, but he's not my favorite rapper. But just the greatest at this rap shit is Jay.
His raps, his beat selection.
Yeah.
I think if Nas had a better beat selection, then it would be a whole different conversation.
And the past 6 years, man, Nas is
with
like,
Hit Boy, yes.
Yeah. I like his newer catalog, you know what I'm saying, as a whole.
King's Disease is definitely up there. Yeah.
All three of them.
All three of them
was fire, bro. And they kept getting better and better. But yeah, Kendrick, bro, like Kendrick is just man, he's a great rapper, great storyteller. He knows how to make hit records. He's a great performer. He has everything, man. And I just want Drake, bro, to just make a classic hip hop album. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just one wish that I just want to see from Drake. I hope Iceman is that. Mm-hmm. I feel Drake got a chip on his shoulder from the Kendrick battle, and just for something to prove with the critics, because critics like say he never had a classic album. I think nothing was the same. Do you believe that? I can agree with that. You know what I mean? I think
that he's never had one.
I think nothing was the same, in my opinion. I think nothing was the same was his classic album to me.
Yeah, Take Care of that, and also If You're Reading This, It's Too Late.
Yeah. Those are Take Care. Nothing was the same. If You're Reading This, those are my favorite three.
Yeah, those are my three favorites.
But he always has dope records on all his shits, but them three I could play and just let them ride. Yeah. Especially Take Care and Nothing Was the Same. And Comeback Season, that's my favorite Drake project. That was like his mixtape.
Wow. Yeah, that's old.
Comeback Season was dope. And So Far So Gone. Like that was groundbreaking.
Yeah, that's a classic.
So I'm hoping, man, that this project that he dropped is, it just shuts all the haters up, man, and he just come with the rapping instead of just, complaining about, how the game treated him, with Kendrick. Man, just rap, bro.
Yeah.
Just rap, dog. Just rap. Show him why you the boy.
There has been some signs of like spiraling a little bit, but I mean,
bro.
But at the end of the day, like you're still like one of the most popular artists on the face of the earth right now. No matter if you drop music or not. Like that's how popular you are.
Yeah.
Like you still have overall better numbers than Kendrick still.
Yeah.
Kendrick has gotten his numbers up way up since then. But like when it comes to numbers, there's really nobody else that's messing with you. There's
nobody.
And the only person I feel like that has came close numbers wise is probably Kanye.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But
yeah, man, I'm just hoping that he drop, an album that everybody appreciates.
Yeah.
The majority, different strokes for different folks, but I just want something that the majority can, say, hey, this is one of his best, if not his best work.
Yeah. Yeah. And even though I haven't been much of a fan of his newer stuff, it's still Drake. It's still somebody that I'm tuning into and I'm listening to. Yeah. Regardless if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to circle back to what you said about temptation too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because one thing I've learned in Buddhism is that there's like 4 main truths that come with that. And the biggest truth was that suffering, desire is the root of suffering.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't want things because we all desire something. Desire is a fundamental value of human life.
Yeah.
But it's getting caught in that desire, the point of wanting everything.
Yeah.
And whenever you get that one thing, you still want something more. And you realize that this material or that this situation that you find yourself in isn't bringing you the satisfaction and the fulfillment that you wanted. Yeah. Because you found it in the desire, but desire is like a fleeting thought at the end of the day. And that's something that every human being is going through right now.
Yeah.
And I want to know how you have battled through temptation and desire in your own life. And do you feel like you're in a position now where you can teach in some capacity to the youth how to conquer that?
Yeah. And just trial and error, desiring things, you get it. It ain't what it's caked up to be. You know what I'm saying? And you learn from the mistakes. And sometimes you can't recoup back from the mistakes. Like, you can't, it ain't a second chance. Agreed. So I was just lucky for, certain things that tempted me, and I took bait on it. I learned from it. You know what I mean? Like God was gracious enough to let me know, hey, I'm gonna let you get through with it this time. I'm gonna let you get away with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna spare you. But just know, like, this could happen. If this scenario could happen if you don't, stop doing what you're doing. So just learning from my mistakes, learning from other people's mistakes too. Being observant, I didn't do a lot of crash out stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wasn't as wild because I seen my friends and people around me just do things, and I seen the repercussions of it. And I was like, shit, I ain't doing that. I thought about it. I ain't doing it because I seen the outcome. I ain't started drinking. I didn't have my first, drink till I was like 20, like 21, 22.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't drink till my 21st birthday.
Yeah, bro.
I haven't drank since.
Yeah, I'm not a heavy drinker. I still, drink from time to time, casually. Even smoking, you know what I mean? Like smoking never been my thing, but I didn't take a puff of a blunt till I was like maybe 25. You know what I mean? And I don't smoke. I don't like it. You know what I mean? But that just, my friends respected me for my willpower and just like not trying to dive into things that everybody else is doing. And I just tell kids, man, like things that I went through that I messed up on, like I just tell my stories in hopes for them to learn from it and not do the same things. Or even if I even if I didn't go through it, but if I see where, it's leading them, I try to talk to them and give them a scenario like, hey man, you go down this road, this is what could happen. And use examples of people I know that went down those roads and things like that. So, like I said, like back earlier, like, we all get tempted, we all fall short, and God continues to give us chances. Sometimes we get more chances than others, and we just got to take heed to that. It may not be a second or third chance. Maybe that first chance that he, spared you from, that's your only chance, and as you get older, you got to be more mindful of your freedom, and, your time here is limited.
Yes, sir.
So like I ain't trying to spend no time in, jail or even be with somebody, that I ain't really feeling like that, but I'm stuck with a kid, or, having relations with somebody and not thinking and using protection, and, you get a disease, or, speaking my mind about someone I don't like online and not being mindful that, I got people from parents and people from work or things as, looking at my page and they see me going off and, exposing people being messy, and, they be like, hey man, this is your leader, this is, doing this and that.
Yeah. This is the example or the image that you hold. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'll just being calculated and being very mindful of things that I do, things that I, put my stamp on, people I involve myself with,
yes, sir.
Because, you got a reputation to uphold.
Indeed. Do you believe that you've taken those lessons and those themes and put that into your latest album, Broken Combs?
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. And more so with, I would say, like Memento Mori, and then like the upcoming album, I talk about those topics. Broken Combs was more of like it was like a fun album. It was, just to it was fun, but I still talked about like, yeah,
the first
topics.
couple of tracks are very deep.
Yeah. And then I just went off into, just rapping and having just fun, what I'm saying? But yeah, like I always try to have like records on my albums that's introspective, you know what I mean, and thought provoking, and talk about some like meaningful things. But yeah, like things that I go through, I put it in the music, bro.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
What would you say is your most vulnerable project or song that you've ever made?
My most vulnerable project is Memento Mori. And my most vulnerable records are like the Catching Up records. I got a Catching Up Pops, Catching Up Hills and DT, Catching Up Seals. So that's
kind of like your heart part.
Yeah. So talking about people that have passed, that's my letter to them. You know what I'm saying? Since they've been gone, this was on my heart, to tell them. You know what I mean? So those are my most personal. Like when I perform those records, I always cry, you know what I'm saying? I only performed them performed them once. Performed Catching Up Pops at my first Dark Room show, and Letter to Cancer, that's the one I performed. And then Catching Up DT and Seals, I only performed them records one time. Cause when you get on stage and those emotions, like you really, your emotions are going and you performing it, all those feelings come out. So it's hard to get through those records because it just hits you like, damn man, these cats really gone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It takes a lot of strength to be in the booth like that. And to talk about that.
Yeah. Now when I write it and stuff like that, I'm fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just when you get on stage, you're not a rapper, but when you get on stage and perform, like you spewing all your feelings out, you know what I mean? It's different than just being in a booth. Like everything is coming out. It's energetic, the energy, and then so when you get on stage and perform a song about a loved one and expressing all these emotions, you started thinking like, damn man, these people really ain't here. You know what I mean? And that, that strikes a chord.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, those are my, most personal and touchy records and albums.
I appreciate you sharing that, man.
Yes, sir.
So what can we expect from Bodine going forward? As the rapper, the artist, the producer, the teacher, the principal, and just the human being that you are.
Man, I'm about to kick 2026's ass with this music, bro. So I'm really just gearing up for Memento Viva Day.
Is that a sequel to Memento Mori?
Yeah.
Nice.
So Memento Mori is Latin for Remember You Must Die, and Memento Viva Day is Remember You Must Live. So Memento Mori was more spiritual, more heavy subject matter about life and death, heaven, hell, jealousy, envy, forgiveness, all those, 7 sins and things like that. A lot of storytelling, that's the album that won Album of the Year last year for like the Slumfest Awards and everything.
Congrats.
It's definitely, thank you. It definitely got like a lot of attention and great feedback. It's not one of them albums where, you just gonna pop in and, bump every day. But when you're going through something and, need some perspectives on it, that's an album that you can listen to. And then Memento Viva Day is more of, it's a celebration of life, man. Remember to live. I still talk about, some heavy subject matter, but it's more lighthearted, you know what I mean? And I produced everything. That's the main thing that I'm excited for people to hear. Like, this is my first full-length produced album. And just playing it for producers that I know and other artists, like the ones that I know that's gonna keep it 100, like they've really enjoyed what they heard. So I've been working on visuals and just getting the whole rollout together before I really start releasing it. STL Made is on that album, but yeah, man, just getting that together. I'm excited, bro. So
yes, sir. I'm excited for you, man.
Yeah, man. This summer is gonna be this gonna be a cold summer, man.
Indeed. And you said you had 2 EPs that you were working on ahead of time as well?
Yeah. So Heaviest to KOMB, that'll be out May, and then Coconut Oil, that'll be out probably June, and then Memento Viva Day will be out July, early August. So just dropping them back to back to back.
Yes, sir.
And then
you gotta feed the fans, right?
Yeah. Just really going hard with music this year. And then probably the top of next year, I'm working on my dissertation. You know what I'm saying? And then May I'll be a doctor. Then I could really
Dr. Bodine.
Dr. Dean, bro.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Dean. And once I'm done, I could I've never had the chance to really focus. Well, I've focused on music, but just have the time, like no other extra stuff going on, and just work on music.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So after next year, when I'm done with this doctorate program, I'll have the time to just focus on music, without other things pulling me left and right.
You never know. You could be a dean yourself.
Yeah.
Of a school.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, like the dean is more, so you got teacher, dean, principal, assistant principal. So the dean kind of deals with like student affairs,
got you. Okay. I thought
like
dean
that
was like the head honcho. Okay, got you.
Yeah, like the dean is like mentorship and student affairs and keeping in contact with like, parents and things like that.
The more you learn, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I thought the dean was a higher up position too, which it is. It's part of admin, but it's kind of like it's like the first string.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So I do have a question. This kind of ties into Kendrick. I do have a couple more questions, and we can call it quits.
Yes,
but
sir.
You're feeding your fans.
Yeah.
You got 3 projects dropping, 2 EPs and an LP.
Yeah.
You dropped the album last year.
Yes, sir.
You dropped the album the year before.
Yeah.
And then you had a little break from 2021 to 2024. And the reason why I tied Kendrick into that, he's known for taking long breaks. Mm-hmm. Have you ever caught any slack, or have you ever felt pressured during these breaks of feeding fans and making music for the fans and having people waiting?
I never took a break.
Mm-hmm.
I never took a break. I've always been working and putting things out. But I probably after this, I probably may take a break.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Take a nice little break. Mm-hmm. I think it's well deserved. But that's why I'm going to give so much music and things, prior, and you still get features and things like that. But just a project after this year, I probably chill out for a minute.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'll definitely be doing features. Probably really getting my production bag. That's probably what I'll be focusing on like next year is production. So taking the time to really master that skill, so you'll see me in a different light than just being on the mic. I'll be behind the boards. You know what I'm saying? Making beats for people and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
But after I get this doctorate, I'll probably take a little vacation, a much needed vacation from everything.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
We need that.
Yeah.
Need that. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for artists to work with, I know a group called Truly Gifted. I may be a little biased.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's in the works, bro.
Yeah.
Me and KB got something that we need to do. Brandon Michael Lewis, Jordan Sky already did something with her. Me and Lil Derek got something on my project that's coming out. We got one on his project too that's about to come out. So yeah, bro, I'm tapped in with the young niggas, bro.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a handful of cats that I want to get some music in with. It's another cat named Toreno. Definitely want to work with him. Stefan Riggins, we definitely got some.
Shout out to Stefan, man.
Bro,
me and my co-actor.
Yeah, bro.
Yes, sir.
Man, do this special.
Indeed.
Do this special, man. So, yeah, man, I'm a rooting for him, bro. I'm rooting for him. Want to see him do great.
Of course.
All of them. You know what I mean? So I just want to see them all do great, and it's good to see them like come up to the shows and watch them do their thing.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, shout out to everybody.
Of course.
You know
However I can help, please let me know, man. I know
this
Yes,
is helping. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? And you just coming out to events and you know what I'm saying, and interviewing and doing your recaps and stuff, and that stuff needed, bro.
more music videos too.
Yeah, man. That stuff is needed, bro. Yeah, and coming out to being a part of music videos and
Yeah, no, I love acting.
and all that, bro.
I love acting, man.
So man, that stuff's needed, bro.
Yeah.
Especially this is needed. This is a great conversation. This is one of my favorite interviews, bro. It's a great conversation. It wasn't forced. Everything flowed smooth. I'm saying you're a pretty smart, intelligent young man.
Thank you, bro.
And it's creative. And I know like you get some more, intellectual people on your podcast. It's gonna do numbers, bro. And this
Yes, sir.
makes me want to go back and check out, the older episodes and seeing who you got on there and things like that. So
Spread the word, bro. I
Yeah.
appreciate you, man.
yeah,
Thank
hell
you.
yeah, hell yeah. So make sure when you drop it, collaborate with me. It's on the post and get the word out, bro. But it's an excellent interview.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for taking the time and being here, man.
Yes, sir.
So before we close this out, what all do you have going on in 2026? You have the 2 EPs, LPs, any concerts, any events that we should tap into, any features?
I'm working on events now, so I'm trying to get the projects done. Trying to knock that out by the end of this month, and then I'm working on the events. So the events will probably be like early fall, August, September. I'm working on that to close the year out right.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the albums got some features just lined up.
I know you got some music videos in there too.
Oh man, the clip loaded with the music videos.
I'm excited to see the one that we did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna show it to you before I leave.
Okay, say less.
Yeah. So yeah, man, we got It's 2026 is gonna be a great rest of the year, and then finishing up school, about to be in my 3rd year of administration once this year is over. So man, just learning and growing, bro.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And we talked about the youth.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for the youth as artists? And then what advice do you have for the youth that are currently in school, getting an education, and what they need to know going forward
Keep
in
going.
education and in music?
Keep going. Have good people in your corner. Have a good team. Have a good circle of people. That's gonna take you far. Like friends and associates that want to see you win. Very important.
Indeed.
That's one thing that I always, when I see it from other people, like when I see their groups and they got people that really support them and hold them down, I always acknowledge that. You know what I mean? So definitely have a strong support system and keep pushing. There's gonna be times where you don't want to, you know what I'm saying, make music or do whatever you want to do, but you got to keep doing it. You know what I mean? And you got to find new ways to, you know, flame that spark. You know what I mean? So, you know, find new ways to motivate you, and keep going. Believe in yourself. You know what I mean? And put good out into the world, and you know, it'll eventually come back to you in different ways. May not always be money, but it'll be opportunities or health or job positions or any like little nuggets. That's one thing that I learned too, man. Like, you know, karma, good karma, bad karma, it comes in so many ways, man. But it always comes.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yeah, you're just a facilitator, right?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Any last words for anybody? Anything that you want to share before we get off?
Memento vivere, man. Remember to live. So, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, y'all know what it is, man. Episode 34 with my man, Bodine. I appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we had a conversation about music, about the youth, and most importantly, about consciousness and God, man. I appreciate you
Yes, sir.
being vulnerable on this podcast, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We out, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.